You're listening to Brainwork Framework, a business and marketing podcast, brought to you by Goosehead Insurance. Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this episode today. My name is Adam.
And I'm Chris.
And we're going to be focusing on goal setting and sticking to them. So when I started, I was terrible with goals. Mm-hmm. I didn't understand it. I knew what the goal was. The goal was to succeed.
Right.
Like the stupid...
Make money.
Make money. That was my goal. Yeah. Like, what else?
Why do we have to complicate this?
Exactly. Why has it got to complicate? Like, what are you talking about? Goals, setting plans and all that stuff, you know? And the more I talked to people smarter than me, obviously, the more I learned it is entirely necessary. Mm-hmm. Same way, you know, basketball players have to memorize plays, where you're going to be on the court at a certain time. Football players have to memorize that. Otherwise, you just go out there and say, have fun, kids, try and win.
Right.
But that's not how it works.
Right. If you're going without a plan, you lack direction.
Right. Right. A great quote that you'll see on the internet from Napoleon Hill is, a goal is a dream with a deadline.
I like that.
It's great. It absolutely is great. And the way to arrive at your goal is to set up, now I forgot the word, like little stops along the way. Like if you're driving from New York to California, yeah, you could just drive all the way there, but you're going to miss out on a lot. So you take stops along the way, milestones, things like that to just help get to your goal.
Right. So you don't feel like it's so out of reach. You're like, oh, I'm trying to get to 4,000. I'm only at 1,000.
Yeah.
Well, that's still great. You got somewhere already.
Right.
Don't let that additional 3,000 prevent you from reaching that goal. Mm-hmm.
And it is easy. When your goal is, I want to make $1 million. That's the goal. I want to make $1 million.
Over what time frame, though? Because everyone makes $1 million.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's the point of making goals.
That's exactly the point of making goals, so that you have a deadline to it, so that you... Otherwise, it's just a dream. Mm-hmm. It's just a thought that isn't anything.
And I think a lot of people who want to become business owners or entrepreneurs, they have the dream, but they lack the knowledge on how to execute that dream. And I think, just like you said, without a time frame to that goal, it's just a dream. Absolutely. And every action you take that leads you toward your goal is like a rung in the ladder to get from the ground to the roof, essentially, where you want to be. You want to be on top. And every action you take, every late night you spend perfecting your craft, whether it's a product you sell or if you're in sales, because goddamn, that's not easy. No matter really what you're doing, setting goals for yourself is 100% necessary for any type of success. And I think it allows you to focus in on what really matters, get rid of the clutter. So that way when you say, okay, this is the goal I'm trying to achieve, what actions and steps are going to lead me to attain that? So you can start throwing away the things that aren't going to actually get you there. It's more busy work. Yeah, no kidding. It's more busy work. And people are already busy. I mean, that's the whole point of starting your own business. You know, you're crazy busy. You're wearing 1 million different hats, trying to do 1 million different things all at once by yourself. Right. I don't think it's so much the hours that you put in, but what you produce within those hours. Yeah. So someone working 20 hours a week can produce much more than someone who brags about putting in 50 hours a week. And it's like, okay, that's great, but what did you accomplish at the end of those 50 hours? So I think that's really important. I think with goal setting, most people focus on SMART goals.
SMART goals. And what does SMART mean?
A SMART goal is a goal that carries 5 different characteristics, and it's an acronym. So the first one being S is a specific goal, M is measurable, A is attainable, R is realistic, and T is time-bound.
Which is essentially the deadline that you're giving yourself.
That is the deadline.
Yeah.
That's correct.
So going over those, each one, specific. Be specific about your goal, because, like you said, I want to make $1 million. In what time frame? In a month? In a week? Over the next 30 years?
Right.
Because, I mean, yeah, you're probably going to make $1 million over 30 years, no matter what you're fucking doing. But that's not really going to help you much, because 30 years, $1 million spread over 30 years is not that much.
Right.
So as far as being specific, create a simple and sensible essentially roadmap from where you're starting and where you want to be.
Right.
Like mine is, I want to have 1,000 policies in my book of business. Once I have that, that will be generating revenue every year for me, and then I just keep growing on that, but that's my tipping point to where it becomes from hard work to it's working for me now.
Yes.
And that's my simple, sensible goal. It's right there, 1,000. I don't have 1,000 now, not even close, but that's what I'm working toward. What about you? Do you have a specific goal in mind?
Well, each year I try to plan out what my goals are going to be for that year, and some actually get accomplished, some do not. And I think that's more on my own wrongdoing with actually trying to attain those goals. But I think as the weeks and months progress, I find that maybe certain actions wouldn't benefit that end goal. So I kind of put that specific goal to the side and kind of reworked it a little bit to say, okay, these are the actions that I need to take, and these goals I really don't need to worry about right now, just to try to condense things a little bit more. But one of my goals was I wanted to try and go over the 6-figure mark for my wedding DJ and photo booth business, and I'm getting close to there. I was close last year. I'm getting closer. So that would entail for me, that would be about 80 to 90 official gigs on the books.
Wow, yeah.
80 to 90 contracts on the books. So that is my specific goal. That's how I'm going to reach it.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to the measurable portion of that, well, I can see how many leads I'm getting in, how many of those leads I'm converting into customers, and so forth. So when you're starting to actually put your plan into place, make sure that you have something that's trackable, something that you can actually put against numbers or analytics, so you know what you're doing.
100% tracking it, making it, and measurable is the next part of the SMART goal. Measuring your activity, your actions, what you're doing to try and reach your goal. And, you should have some definition of what your success looks like, of what the end goal looks like. And by measuring it, it's going to help you evaluate achievement and evaluate your progress. And more importantly, figure out what's working and what's not working, so that you're not spending time spinning your wheels when nothing's actually happening. If you're measuring what you're doing in 1 month and you're not seeing the results, well, obviously try something else then the following month.
Yeah.
And it's not saying that a month is the right time you should be measuring your activity in or something. I'm just saying if something you're doing is not working, it's going to be very difficult to find out because you're not measuring anything. And that's one thing specifically that I've started doing over the last probably 4 months or so, where I've really been paying attention to my outbound calls and I'm making my inbound and outbound emails, which seems silly, but at the same time, like it really is important.
I don't think it's silly at all.
I know.
I think it's very important too.
And it is. It just seems like such a small thing to track, How many outbound calls you're making in a day? Like, just fucking dial people.
You're like, I'm an entrepreneur. I don't need to micromanage myself.
Well, you're right. It is kind of like that. It is. But turning on that micromanagement, becoming your own boss.
It's the accountability.
It's so hard to be accountable for yourself. Some people just can do it. Some people are born with that. Just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to sit here and suffer because I know that's what needs to be done. But most people don't want to do that. You don't want to suffer. You just want the success. You want the rewards. You want to become TikTok famous overnight. But even then, what's your specific goal to be TikTok famous?
Right.
You need 1 million followers.
Right.
How do you measure that? How many videos are you doing per day and how long are they doing? So, yeah. Make your goals trackable. That's really it. The actions that you're taking to reach your goal has to be measurable. So, and then the A in SMART goals is attainable or achievable. And basically, that's just saying, like, I want to make $1 million a day. Like, that's a goal, sure. That's not really attainable just there, just starting,
Right.
That's not a good business plan.
Right. Unless you're already making 500,000 a day. Okay, maybe $1 million a day.
Right.
Might be a good attainable goal, but for most of us, probably not. But it should be something that challenges you.
Yeah.
But it's still achievable.
100%. Yeah.
So you definitely want to try to shoot for the stars, but not too far.
Being a business owner is hard, guys. But taking the leap is the first step, and then having a goal is really the second step.
Mm-hmm.
Have an attainable goal. Have a realistic goal, which is the R in the SMART goals. Be honest with yourself, because you know what you're capable of. Now you know what you're capable of now, but who knows? Through a certain amount of effort, through measuring a specific actions that you're doing to try and reach your goal, you might find out that, wow, you're actually capable of doing a hell of a lot more than you thought you were. Myself, speaking for myself, terrible self-esteem issues, whatever. But I notice some, like the small victories I have, even if it's not money making things, but the small, the connections I can make, or somebody sends me a LinkedIn request. I'm like, holy shit, this person's like a big deal. They want to connect with me. It's wow. It's one of those things where you're just, okay, here's a measurable moment.
Yes.
What actions did I take to get to this milestone right here? And I know what actions I took. I showed up to networking events, and I said my name. I gave my name. Other people heard my name, and I showed that, hey, I'm a person. I can be here. I can do this. I am doing this. So recognize me, essentially. It's kind of what it is.
Right.
And that is one of those measurable moments that just makes me feel like, okay, I am capable of making connections, of making friends outside of my high school friend for 25 fucking years, But that's fine. But, meeting new people has always been very, very difficult for me. But here I am doing it. It's so relieving and freeing. Saying, wow, I actually am capable of doing something I didn't think I was. And it's just simple as that.
It is. But getting over that first hurdle of being kind of antisocial.
Yeah.
To now my business and livelihood depends on the friendships and relationships that I make.
Right.
And that had to be a big challenge for you coming out of your comfort zone.
Huge challenge. That was probably the biggest challenge, because if you want to succeed in the insurance industry, you're not going to do it by nobody knowing who you are or what you do, or how good you are at what you do. And I knew that going into it, that was really number one. But at the same time, I'm just like, well, I've sold insurance before. You just buy leads online and call people.
Right.
You buy a big list of names, call them, say, hey, you want cheaper insurance? I can maybe do that for you.
You need it, I got it.
Yeah, but that's not really how it works anymore.
Yeah.
That's not how insurance works anymore. Some companies might still do it that way, but not the good ones.
Right.
The successful agents, no matter where you're at, any company, you look at a successful person, their network is huge. Everybody in the area knows their name. Whether they work with them or not, good experience or bad experience, they know them. And it's because of that, it allowed them to gain traction, gain success in places they didn't think maybe they were. Maybe your natural market, your friends and family and neighbors, they don't care about what you are doing. They don't want to be involved in it. And that can be very demotivating at the moment. But then you realize, you start building these connections. You start, oh, okay, I don't need them necessarily to be coming at me, supporting me, because I have found other people through my actions that I've taken because I have a specific goal.
Yes.
And one of my specific goals is to build the out of my network, because I don't have one. And if your network equals your net worth, then I'm broke and I don't want to be, you know what I'm saying?
You're like, I got this deferred interest piling up.
Yeah, absolutely. So next, so the T in SMART goals is the time bound. Give yourself a deadline. And there's a book that I read last year. I'm trying to find it. There it is. So it's called The 12-Week Year by Brian Morgan and Michael Lennington. And I kind of introduced this book to you after I had read it. It was recommended to me, because I have such a hard time setting goals for myself and holding myself accountable for them. Because if I say I want to have 1,000 policies in my book, well, by when? By the end of a year? Okay. So then how do I do that kind of thing?
Right.
Well, it just breaks it down to make your year essentially 12 weeks. How many, 12 times 10 is 120 weeks, but that's not anything. What am I trying to think of here?
So you're going to have
It's basically a quarter, right?
Yes.
It's a quarter of the year.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're going to have 4 years within a year.
Right.
Or you should accomplish 4 years worth of stuff.
Right.
Within 1 year.
Right. And it's not about like meeting your annual goal 4 times in a year kind of thing. It's just breaking your annual goal up into 4 different quarters, essentially.
Right.
The first quarter, if I want to have 1,000 policies by the end of this year, I got to write 250 policies every quarter, essentially. And by shortening out the year into 12 weeks, it makes measuring your actions and what you're doing hell of a lot easier, because you're not going through 6 months worth of what did I do. It's 12 weeks. It's 3 months essentially is what you're doing.
Right. Plus whatever you accomplish within those 12 weeks, that is going to benefit you for the next 9 months. Whereas that yearly goal, you may have started working on it September, October, and just pushing it out there because now the deadline's coming. But if you get it done those 12 weeks, you're going to have all that benefit for the next 9 months sooner
Right.
than you would with a yearly goal.
Exactly. So basically it's setting 4 annual goals a year, trying to meet them. My first goal, 250 policies before the end of the first 12 weeks of the year. Now, I'm not necessarily on track to hit that, but I have definitely ramped up the actions, the production that I've been doing to try and get that. And because it's 12 weeks, 250 policies is a lot easier for me to see in my head versus 1,000. You know what I mean?
Right.
And this goes for anybody, whether you're trying to sell physical products or you're in sales game or something like that. You're a car salesman. You want to sell 3 cars a month to try and, make it good and stuff like that. Well, that's 3 times 3 is 9 cars in 12 weeks. Like selling 9 cars in 12 weeks, that shouldn't be too hard, right? Like just think about it. It's not even 1 car a week that you're selling. So it should be pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
And I don't know nothing about selling cars, but
I think the average should be about 9 per month, actually.
Holy crap.
And if you're on a draw against commission sort of scale.
Oh,
so you're going to make minimum wage up until, but that depends. Are you selling new or used?
Sure.
Because there's going to be a higher margin within used cars versus new cars, but there's usually kickbacks or stipends for selling a new car.
Oh, I see.
So not only do you get, maybe there's $100 bonus for each car you sell, and then once you get up to X amount of cars, now you've hit the inventory bonus or something that your manager is going to set for you saying, hey, we can get discounted pricing if we sell X amount of cars. So it'll give us better access to inventory, etc.
That makes sense. So I would recommend reading the 12-week year by Brian P. Morgan and Michael Lennington. I have it on audiobook that I got free on Amazon because you get a digital credit every time you buy shit or something like that.
Nice.
And I really liked it specifically because it gave me, I know this is stupid, but it felt like it gave me permission to break up my goals and say your annual goals are what they are. It's just what you need it to be, right? But then this book allowed me to take it and go, okay, 1,000 policies is a lot. I don't have any of that right now. Oh my God. But then breaking it up, 250 policies in 12 weeks. What is that? It's 20 policies a week, which is totally doable. But that's not where I'm at right now. But that is my goal. That's my goal right now. 1,000 policies a year. Wow, it's a lot. But my goal is 20 policies a week, which is entirely attainable. That's 5 or 6 households essentially with a couple cars and a home.
That's totally doable.
100%.
You can do that in an afternoon each day. 3 to 4 hours maybe.
Right. And then the rest of the time, my time is just networking, social media, posting, and stuff like that. So just because I'm able to break it down, it makes it easier for me to be like, okay, A, this goal is attainable 100%. And B, it allows me to be a little bit more accountable with my actions and measuring what I'm doing rather than saying, what did I do all last year? What did I do the last 12 weeks? So that's a little bit easier to figure out.
Right. Absolutely.
So
I think it's great because it's going to minimize the discouraging element of that really hard to reach goal. By breaking it down, you can feel like you're getting a little bit closer, because then when you sell 10 policies in a week, you're like, all I need is 1 to 2 more households this week, and I'm literally at my goal.
Right.
And I just need to keep doing that.
Right. Whether you're having a business and looking to grow, or you're contemplating starting a business, taking the leap to be an entrepreneur, before you do anything, have a goal in mind. Have an end game, and then from that, see what actions you could take in a 12-week amount of time to maybe get there. What 4 goals could you reach in a year to help you reach that inevitable goal? And that's been working for me. It's been helping me organize my life a little bit easier. And it's been helping me chill a little bit with the stress that comes with everything,
Right. Because when you actually have an action plan and you're taking those steps, it takes less brain power for you to actually walk through those steps and execute them. Whereas without that goal, you're actually just scaring yourself a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what happens.
You're like, what do I do? What do I do?
Yep. Then anxiety kicks in and you just freeze, and then nothing gets done for how long. And then you're upset with yourself because you didn't do anything that you said you were going to do, and then you get even more bogged down for that. And it's real, man.
I'm exhausted just thinking about it.
Yeah, it is exhausting. It adds way more stress to your life than you need, and it is just exhausting. And there's nothing really you can do about it, because you have to. If you want to hit your goal, you got to take the steps to hit it.
Right.
So be specific with your goals. Have processes in place that you can measure your activity to reach that goal. Make sure that your goal is attainable and realistic, and it's not, I just want to wake up tomorrow and make $1 million a day. That'd be cool, but it's not really realistic. But if you say, I want to make $1 million in a 5-year period, like on my 5th year, I want to make $1 million that year. Because that's kind of what my goal is. Like on my 5th year of what I'm doing right now, April will be my 1 year in. So on my 5th year, I want to have a book of business that's going to generate me, between renewals and new revenue, agency-wise, $1 million worth of revenue.
And is that 1,000 policies?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
It would take more than that. But when I hit my 1,000 policies, that will give me the revenue to hire another producer, maybe 2. Because that's how you hit $1 million. I'm not going to be able to do it myself. I have to have me and 2 other people selling constantly to reach that. And if the agency makes $1 million, I'm going to make a lot of money, and so are my producers. And that's what I'm excited about. Like, that's my goal. My goal is to get other producers in here and be like, I don't want to say unlimited earning potential, like every other sales job does, but I want them to actually go home and be like, holy crap, this is a well-paying job. And it can be.
Absolutely. But it's something that's mutually beneficial for you as the agency owner as well.
Yep, 100%.
But at the end of the day, you realize, if I can give someone a little bit extra to help them realize that your hard work is going to pay off. I'm not just saying that. You're not just going to get a pizza party once a quarter. Like, I'm actually going to, because your success is riding on their success. Right. And when you can benefit each other, you're just going to have a much better time reaching your goals.
Exactly. It's going to become fun. Your goal is going to be something that you can see as attainable and not just a dream. So best of luck with all of your endeavors, and let us know how you felt about the episode. Is there anything else you want us to talk about? Definitely don't hesitate to reach out and let us know what you would like us to fumble around with, essentially. But other than that, that's all I got. Thanks for listening, folks.
Have a good day.